There can be no middle way in dealing with transgenderism. It is all or nothing. If transgenderism is true, if men really can become women, then it's true for everybody of all ages. If transgenderism is false, as it is, if men really can't become women, as they cannot, then it's false for everybody too. And if it's false, then we should not indulge it, especially since that indulgence requires taking away the rights and customs of so many people. If it is false, then for the good of society, and especially for the good of the poor people who have fallen prey to this confusion, transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. The whole preposterous ideology at every level.
Let's be clear, this is genocidal language. Now, in a technical sense, maybe it wouldn't be considered genocidal because of the fact that transgender people and members of the LGBTQ community do not fall under the UN definition of genocide, as it only refers to the attempt to destroy in whole or in part any ethnic, national, racial, or religious group. But it's genocidal, right? If you're calling for the complete and total eradication of transgenderism, it's pretty clear what you mean. You can't get rid of transgenderism without getting rid of transgender people. That's like saying, you know, oh, Hitler wasn't trying to kill off the Jews, he just wanted to get rid of the Jewish religion. No, it doesn't work that way. You can't say something as awful as this and then try to walk it back. This is the logical next step, right? There's been several people from within the Republican Party who, in some way, shape, or form, have called for mass violence or genocide of members of the LGBTQ community. I've made videos in the past of, you know, pastors and, you know, certain religious figures, as well as certain Republicans who have said as much. They've said flat out that they want to take members of the LGBTQ community out in the back and shoot them in the head. Very clear. And so by saying that you want to eradicate transgenderism, it's just so amazing to me that conservatives consistently, the one thing that they're consistent about is their hate for certain groups, right? For years, they hated the gay community. For years, they hated minority communities, whether that was Black or brown communities. For years, they hated Jewish communities. There's very anti-Semitic, Islamophobic, etc. And today, in the latest, you know, culture war, you know, BS, they've taken aim at the transgender community, which is a very vulnerable community across this country. And it's just incredible because, you know, some people like to try to say, oh, well, you know, the gay marriage debate is over, Republicans have moved on, you know, the gay rights issues, etc. No, that's not the case at all. And it's so clear with rhetoric like this that that's not the case. It's become less fashionable, maybe, to be so openly homophobic, but they still do it regularly. Look at the coverage, you know, from Tucker Carlson on Pete Buttigieg and his kids. In some ways, things have gotten a little bit better for the LGBTQ community, but in a lot of ways, it's getting worse. And the fact that this man could get up at CPAC and say such a abhorrent thing and have loud applause from the audience shows you just how bad things are. And be clear, like, there are people who will take what he is saying as a call to arms against the transgender community. 100%. The connection between hatred and violence from the right over decades is so clear. It's just, unfortunately, what conservatives do. They try to pick certain communities to be the targets of their hate and their fears, and it allows people to lock into that as a threat. All the while, many people who vote Republican are not paying attention to the fact that Republican policies are actually hurting them in their day-to-day lives. And somehow they continue to fall for these tricks. But this hateful rhetoric that Republicans continue to employ against certain key communities in our country has to stop. It is dangerous. It is potentially incitement to violence. And there is just no excuse for it. And I don't understand why conservatives are so proud to be so ignorant and hateful for years. The fact that, in Florida with Ron DeSantis, with these anti-woke bills and these don't say gay bills and things like that, what are you trying to accomplish? Gay people exist. They are in our communities. They're across the country. They're in every facet of our lives. They are normal humans. What do you want to do? You want to pretend like they don't exist? You want to teach your children that they don't exist? You want to teach your children to hate them, to fear them? You want to teach your children that they should be, as this man is saying, eradicated? Just absolutely disgusting. And it's not as if this is shocking information that, this man is out there on his own. This is commonplace in the Republican Party. And if you don't believe that, then you need to open up your eyes and pay attention to what's happening.